Hello there. What is going on, everybody? Hello there. I am trying a new type of stream. Just going to do some Q&A today. And the reason this is different is I guess YouTube changed a whole bunch of stuff. So I've had to reconfigure some things on my end. It does look like it's working now. I basically it looked like everything was set up through YouTube Gaming, and they changed how they're doing their live streaming. And YouTube Gaming has gone away. And since they went away, one of the things they added is that you can now become a member on my channel. So that's kind of cool. So there's a new membership option available, which, it seems like, that could be something that maybe some of you are into. We'll see. But I did design some custom little like icons and emojis and things like that for that. But other than that, we're just going to kind of hang out, kind of test out the new stream, see how it works tonight. Hopefully it's working fairly well. Talk about a couple of things. We did lose Peter Mayhew. We just got the news yesterday. So that was actually pretty sad. He... I don't think it came as much of a surprise to a couple of folks because he wasn't. I don't think he was really doing all that well. So I get that. But it's still sad, when you lose somebody that was such an important part of all our lives. So our thoughts go out to the family and to I look at it. Everybody's gonna die. I look at, something like this as an opportunity to celebrate their life. I'm kind of more, part of me wants to, shout hooray for Chewie and to say thank you for all the years of Wookiee roars, but it's different people react differently. So, hopefully, the family's doing all right, and hopefully he'll continue to live on and inspire generations to come. And I will say this: it's and they're already done filming all the stuff with him, so we probably won't see Chewie anymore. Anyway, but you never know; they may end up coming back and making more solo movies. So, which kind of leads me into one of the things that I kind of wanted to talk about. So when I talk about like film and books and some of the non-gaming related media that's out there, because I finished reading a couple of books lately. I've read the Padme and Her Handmaiden's book. I read the Qui-Gon Master and Apprentice. Just finished that one, and I've started on the Dooku audio drama, and that's some pretty interesting stuff. But it's like they're always going back and telling backstories, and it's that frustrates me because you always like find out new details. It's like, hey, we need you to write a story about Qui-Gon Jinn, and this isn't in the book, but I'll just say like, oh, well, I want to add my own spin on Qui-Gon Jinn, so I'm gonna make it out to be where he actually, took on, a different apprentice. In between, all the other stuff, and it was a really big deal. The apprentice fell to the dark side, and Qui-Gon Jinn died and was resurrected, and then he turned into a transformer and became a spaceship, and then it was all reversed at the last minute, and they never talked about it again, And then, that's something that they end up trying to do in all these books and prequels and backstories and trying to make all this interesting stuff happen that was, it was there the whole time, it was just off camera, And it frustrates me because it didn't happen. It's not how it happened, So, I kind of feel a little frustrated with a lot of that. But at the same time, sometimes these are really well done. So that being said, I really did enjoy the Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan book, Master and Apprentice. I liked it quite a bit. It was a great book. It actually has some really interesting little prophecy bits in there that might feed in to episode 9, but I'm gonna not spoil any of that for anybody else. I do want to make an episode 9 spoiler video. I may put that out tomorrow for May the 4th. Happy May the 3rd for you guys. Happy May the 3rd. It's May the 4th is just about here, so that's cool. Curious if we're going to see any really cool Star Wars related news show up. I'm not certain that is going to happen, but I might try and get some Star Wars gaming in. I don't know what really is going on. I don't really. The funny thing is, this is the first May the 4th. I don't have any plans. I don't have any plans at all. I'm actually hoping to just kind of relax. I had a really crazy week and topped off with a really wild day today. Really wild day. And stuff I'm not going to go into, but got some interesting decisions to make in the future that are going to have potentially massive impacts on my life. So that really was kind of crazy. But yes, so is it May the 4th already in New Zealand? Well, happy May the 4th to you all as well. It's coming here very soon. So so I'm liking the Dooku audio drama too, and it's another thing is like there's just interesting little things they talk about, like Asajj Ventress is in there, and they talk about her backstory a little bit and things that are really big, and maybe they were in other books and stuff that was already established and things I just missed or wasn't aware of. But that's what kind of led me, is like, wait, did they just add this huge major detail for Asajj, or was that there the whole time? You know, and so like it's interesting, and if it's something new they added, it's actually really cool. But it's like, how come they never talked about it before? Of course, maybe they did talk about it before, and I just simply forgot. You know. But yeah, so that's the thing. I just really want a type of show or movie or series that's just going to progress forward in time. That's what I want. And that's why I look forward to episode 9. It's going forward in time. So no matter how it ends up disappointing, I mean, I don't know if any movie can be a better bookend, a better end of story than Endgame was for the Marvel movies. Because Endgame, when it originally came out, I was just talking like it was the greatest thing I had ever seen. And, I mean, it still was really great. But I yes, on its own, there was movies that were probably better than it. But for what it did as being a fan service and an end cap for all of the Marvel films, I think it did a tremendously good job at that. Blown away at just how good of an ending it was to this massive story. However, on its own, if you only saw that, you probably wouldn't think it was a great movie. You'd probably say, oh, it was a good action movie, but, you know, the story wasn't there, you know, so it's like it doesn't work without all the rest of the stuff. So there are better movies than that, but as an end piece, it was fantastic. And that's one of the things that they talked about, like at the episode 9 panel, is they said, oh, well, you know, this also has to work as its own movie. And I wanted to say, no, it doesn't. You can make a movie that just requires you've seen all the other Star Wars movies. Like, I wish more people would do what Marvel is willing to do. I wish more studios would do what Marvel is willing to do. Guardians of the Galaxy was a huge leap, and it paid off. Infinity War was a huge leap by ending the movie on such a downer. They were willing to do that, and nobody ever does that, you know. And these are gambles that paid off tremendously. I just hope in the future Star Wars films they're willing to take some gambles. Maybe they didn't want to gamble with the Skywalker saga. Okay, I guess. I mean, I guess you could argue that maybe Rogue One was a gamble. I think it probably was. So, you know, we're going to see. What game store do you usually go to? I go to a couple of different game stores. Sometimes I go to Cool Stuff, specifically Cool Stuff Waterford. Sometimes I go to Sci-Fi City. Sometimes I just play here at home. But those are the two I tend to go to. If when they release Darth Maul for Legion, do you think he will be a commander or an operative? If they release Darth Maul, then I think he will be a operative, because he didn't command any troops. Now, if they release Maul, like from the Clone Wars, where he is, you know, got the imposition of the Darksaber and things like that, then I could see him, like when he's leading Mandalore, then I could see him as a commander. So there's multiple ways. Like, it really depends on what time period they want to do him from. And of course they could do Old Man Maul too. I think that's when he was just Maul, when he was kind of older, and he really wasn't a commander then either. He was more of an old sage. So if the game gets really, really long and they start making like 3 versions of every character, then maybe they'll do something like that. But yeah, it depends. If he's Sith assassin Darth Maul, then, you know, then of course he's just, then he'd be an operative. But if he's you know, what, Death Watch Maul, then he should be a commander. That's what I think. And I apologize if I'm sweating a little bit. It's really hot in here today. It's starting to warm up. It's starting to become summertime. And the fact that it's starting to become summertime means something's getting closer. Because what is summer going to bring us? Well, a whole lot of heat and sweat and humidity. But also a superstar destroyer is supposed to be out by summertime. Or during summertime. Yes. But yeah. How do you feel about the CIS, Swarm, and Legion? How do you feel that they will interact with the Galactic Civil War era? Rest in peace, Chuba. I feel like I haven't seen a lot of CIS Swarm. Not that many people are that keen on buying a whole bunch of Vulture droids, so I haven't seen any CIS Swarms yet. Granted, I'm not playing as much as everybody else out there, so I cover a lot of games, and X-Wing is just one of many. I don't. It's not my top game. Although I do enjoy it more so now than I used to. It's getting a second wind for me. I haven't been playing. I've only been playing about once a week, or maybe a little less than that on average. Some weeks every week. Sometime like this week I didn't play. So, but yeah. This is my garage. How does my cardboard box games hold up in the heat and humidity of my Florida-based garage? They hold up really well. I have had very, very few problems. I don't think I've ever had actually a problem with most of my games. The only time I had a problem is our washer and dryer are out here. So when we're doing laundry, it can heat up the garage a little bit. And we had the exhaust one time. The exhaust for the dryer, it exits the house. It had come loose and was like pointed towards my games, and it actually melted like my ATST for Star Wars Imperial Assault. And so my Legion that was standing up ended up like melting down to be like this. And a couple of my Black Series figures got melted also. Like, I don't know if you can see. It's actually not as bad. My IG-88, his feet are a little, like they should be like straight, but they got a little melted. I think I used a hot water trick to try and fix them, but some of them I tried to fix. I had a lightsaber, like one character fell on a lightsaber, and that kind of got messed up. But, yeah, it's pretty warm today. The wife did laundry earlier, so it's still got some excess heat in here from the dryer. Which kind of factors into the whole real life decisions and stuff, because if I make the wrong decision, I'm kind of hoping to get a bigger house someday. Although I'm grateful just to have a home to live in, because I grew up. I don't talk about my history very often, but I grew up living in an attic. So I grew up very, very, very poor. So the fact that I actually have a house, I am extremely appreciative of that fact. I feel extremely lucky, and so wanting a bigger house sometimes makes me feel like spoiled. Like I don't deserve it. I should just be glad. So a lot of people don't even have a house. Some people live in attics like I used to. So I should be grateful for what I have. That being said, it is awfully hot right now. So maybe I'll get some more support on Patreon, and I'll end up getting an air conditioner put in the garage. That would be nice. But yes. All right. The rules are harsh, and the book can take like an RPG. Yes. What kind of genre of movie would work like what Marvel did? With what kind of genre or movie? I would love to see Star Wars do kind of what Marvel did. I would love to see Star Wars do what Marvel did with all of its stuff that's going on in the Galactic Civil War outside of the Skywalker saga. I feel like you've introduced us to enough characters that you could have an all-star reunion someday. But I think you should spend a couple of years working on it. I wouldn't mind seeing Rian Johnson do a trilogy about a whole, unknown territories. Just tell a whole story unto itself. Doesn't have to involve the Jedi. Should probably have something to do with the Force, though. I wouldn't mind if it had to do with the Force. But I think it should probably have to do with Star Wars. So it can have ships, it can have crime, it can have laser guns, it can have melee fighting, it can have the Force, It can have some mysticism, like the mystical aspect. It can have lightsabers if they think that's necessary, but I would like for Rian Johnson to tell that story. And then, so establish a whole bunch of different characters. And then I would like for other stories that come out, and all these other characters from different other stories to maybe one day converge. Characters like Dr. Aphra. Characters like Ezra and Grand Admiral Thrawn. Characters like Mara Jade from, EU stuff that haven't been pulled in yet. I would like to eventually build up to some kind of all-star reunion, merging lots of other stories together. Things from the books, things from The Mandalorian. Let's see the characters from that. Maybe, and if you start telling these stories, during maybe starting from like maybe the end of, from Empire Day. So episode 3 ends, and then you start telling a story in the, just beyond the Outer Rim of a planet that, caught wind of this big uprising, and they have a galactic empire over there. Good thing we're beyond their reach, and then you start talking about it from there. And then just start telling a story. It doesn't have to involve them, but it could at least be aware of what's going on. But you develop other characters, tell an interesting story, have one director in charge of the whole thing. And that's something I think Marvel needs, is they need like one vision in charge of, like, to tell a comprehensive story from beginning to end. And it could be that they're working on that. It could involve characters that we've seen in Rogue One. It could involve characters we've seen in Solo. It could involve a lot of things, I mean, I would love to see something like that eventually come together. And that would be a nice thing. I mean, if it was done well, of course. But I mean, I that concept I think is kind of cool, because I really liked the fan service in Endgame. There was a lot of things that had paid off. I was just so happy to see Pepper Potts in the rescue armor. That was one of my favorite things about the whole movie, and she was only on screen for like 20 seconds total, but I absolutely loved it. Of course, I'm not going to talk about that anymore, though, because I think it's still too early to talk spoilers. So I apologize if that was... I mean, that was not really... Hopefully that was not really a spoiler. But, shoot. I shouldn't have done that. Very, very minor spoiler, so I apologize then. Shoot. Sorry if you haven't seen Endgame yet. And I think I think I'm supposed to wait till Monday before it's okay to talk about spoilers. But anyway, Endgame was awesome. And if that was a spoiler for you, I apologize. But that was a very, very, that was nothing. It was just a little Easter egg in there for people who, were familiar with Rescue. So let's see. Let's get into some Q&A here. So I'm going to look at some questions here. Do you take suppression from a weapon with the suppressive keyword even if the attack didn't produce any hits? Great question. Yes, you do. However, if it did produce hits, you'll then take 2 suppression, because you'll get a suppression normally, and then the suppressive keyword triggers at the end of the attack after this attack assign a suppression token. So, yeah, suppressive actually has a pretty good chance to give 2 suppression, but you're guaranteed at least 1. Do I play bolt action? No, I do not. I'm kind of at my. I think I'm at my maximum for collectible army building miniatures games. And the funny thing is, I've got more coming. I got some that I have to do reviews for, where some publishers are sending me games to review. And generally they all have miniatures, because I get a lot of requests to review games that don't have really any appeal to me, and I usually tell them no, because I don't do paid reviews. I don't accept money for reviews. Because, hey, it's kind of cool just getting a game for free. So I'm like, oh, that's sufficient. And so I like that. But yeah, I don't want to get into where I feel obligated to give a good review, even if it's not how I really feel. So it's just a dangerous rabbit hole. I may at some point start charging for reviews if my time becomes I can't fit this in. I've got to talk about other things. And then at that point, I'd be like, all right, well, for $500, I'll do a review, But you have to kind of be prepared for them to say, well, no, that's too much. I'm like, okay, good, because I had better things to do with my time. But as it stands right now, I can squeeze in a couple extra reviews. It gives me something else to talk about, and also I run the chance of finding a game that I absolutely love. So that's been a kind of a cool thing. I like that was the deal with like Awaken Realms. They, some of the stuff they've sent me, I've absolutely fallen in love with. So, that was cool. Like Lords of Hellas and Nemesis. I actually backed those too. The copies that I got, I think, were not my pledge though. So I think they sent me review copies early, like separately. So that's kind of cool because that just means I can, give those to a friend or something like that once I actually get my game in. Or if nobody wants it, I can always do a giveaway. But I think people want those games because those games are awesome. All right. Would you think the Venator could be a large ship? No, I think the Venator would be a medium ship. I think the Galactic Republic for the Clone Wars in Armada will be predominantly a medium ship heavy faction. I think that will be one of their calling cards. And I'm okay with that. I don't know if they'll have any large ships. I think their largest ship in canon was the Victory Star Destroyer. And that one's obviously a medium. I don't think they ever had anything bigger than that. So, unless, of course, maybe they introduce something new in Season 7 of the Clone Wars. That's entirely possible, and that would be kind of cool. Do you expect anything new from FFG or Star Wars in days to come, considering it's the 4th of May weekend? Yes. Yes, I do. I expect a lot of new things. I expect some more, another look at some of the other things we'll be getting for the Clone Wars for Legion. I expect them to announce what these new ships will be for Armada, the 2 new ships that they said they weren't ready to talk about. It could be very well that they've been holding off and they wanted to wait until May the 4th. It could be that they want to wait until Star Wars weekend, or whatever, Force Friday. It could be until they want to wait until that, which would be really cool. So I know I definitely expect that they'll do some more stuff like that. They might have. Now they usually don't publish big news on a Saturday. So what they may do is they may wait till Monday, either Monday because that's close to May the 4th, or the following Friday. FFG has in the past always kind of done something like that where they don't actually publish the cool stuff on May the 4th. They publish it according to their own schedule, just close to May the 4th. So I actually thought today would have been something, but I guess we're gonna have to wait. To be fair, though, they did just drop a whole lot of news on us at Celebration. There's probably still more stuff to talk about I haven't talked about yet. And so that's kind of exciting. Like, huge ships are going to move differently. They have a single base, and I'm really excited about that because trying to pick up huge ships once they're on display is really difficult. It's hard to wrap your hands around them. What's my favorite ship to fly in X-Wing? Right now, it's the Delta 7. I've been trying to fly Republic a lot more. We did kind of like Fen Rao too with the Protectorate fighter. That one's, we did this. I talked about it in one of my videos. This furball at Celebration, which was really, really fun. I absolutely love the furball format of X-Wing, where you just kind of jump in, jump out, pick a ship, and go. I loved that very much so, and I'd love to do more of that. But I flew the Delta 7 quite a bit when doing that. Also really like the TIE Advanced X1. What Armada ship do you think most needs a reboot or new title, and what would you change? Well, I mean, I talked about that at length in my titles video. For me, I think the Nebulon needs help, or the Gladiator needs help. They have good titles, or the Gladiator has a good title, but I think some of the titles for those are so good that you never take anything else. So they really do need other titles. Alternatively, the ships that have only one title, I'd love to see more titles for, like the Pelta and the Interdictor. I'd love to see more titles for those to give those ships some new functionality. I would like that as well. With the new stuff coming out in Legion, what should you buy first? Depends how badly you want to play Legion today, or if you can wait. Because if you can wait, then just buy a Clone Wars core set and start with the Clone Wars. Start with a whole new faction and get yourself the card pack. I'd probably need to do a what to buy first for Legion, but basically get 2 core sets, and that's a really good value. If I were you, the best way to save money is to buy 3 core sets, and you have a lot of building options. Buy 3 core sets, you have so many options at that point. You'll have 6 core that you can use. That's going to be your cheapest way to get a droid swarm. Also, 3 core sets. You're going to get all the dice you'll likely to ever need, as well as extra range tools. Those range tools break like crazy, so you're going to get all of that. You'll have, lots of extra barricades. And also with 3 core sets for Clone Wars, you'll be able to build Grievous like in just about every conceivable way. And I think that's going to be a really cool thing about having the core sets, because that's the only place to get Obi-Wan Kenobi and Grievous. So definitely going to suggest getting 3 core sets for the Clone Wars. Unless, of course, they come, like my big question is there going to be any extra real good reason to buy a B1 Battle Droids expansion, or a Phase 1 Clone Troopers expansion, or a Droidekas expansion when they finally announce those, or a Bark Speeder Bike expansion when they finally announce those? Are they going to have an alternate sculpt like we saw a little bit of with the original core set? I don't know. And that's interesting. Ooh, is it raining? I think it's raining out. I'm tempted to open my garage door, but just to get some cool breeze going on in here, but it doesn't blow in that much, because I am sweating right now. I am hot, folks. Very much. Alright, let's get some more questions going on in here. Have I read the Darth Maul trilogy? I don't think there is a Darth Maul not that's canon. So I think there were some Darth Maul books before Disney took over, so in Legends, and I have not. I know there was some Darth Maul comic books, like Son of Dathomir or something like that. I did not read that. Have I read the Darth Bane trilogy? No. I have not. Have I built any of the Bandai Star Wars kits? That's a good question. Yes. A couple. I think 2. 2 were model kits I built and like melted to turn into terrain for Legion. Like I did an Upsilon shuttle and a TIE Interceptor. The only one I have that I can show you is around here somewhere. I gotta try and find it. Why is James Hetfield from Metallica up here? I'm looking for it, folks. Bear with me. Woo! Alright. I did this B-Wing. And I airbrushed and painted and put stickers on this B-Wing, and I did the whole thing. So, yeah, I love this B-Wing. And the funny thing is, I think it came out looking really good. A lot better than the unpainted model, because they do put the plastic in here, like color-coded, so like if you don't paint it at all, it still looks like a B-Wing. But I'm curious if the battery's still alive, because there we go. I put an LEDs inside, so you got that going on. So I love this B-Wing, and it's got fully folding stuff. Man, it's pouring down there. It's like hurricane. We're getting hurricane rains outside. It's awesome. That is very good. It's gonna wash away all the dog poop in the lawn. That's good, because I didn't want to go pick all of that up. Alright, have I had the chance to play Outer Rim yet? Yes, and I've done multiple videos on it, including a how to play and a review that a lot of people thought was a negative review. And I gotta say, it was not a negative review. It was just not a super glowing review. It was a balanced review that points out some of its successes and some of its flaws, because the game does have some flaws, but they're not so big that I wouldn't recommend it. I still recommend Outer Rim. It's still a fun game, and one of its shining accomplishments is that it actually gives us a Star Wars game that's a multiplayer game, a truly multiplayer game, and that's amazing. Anybody who's had like 3 people show up to play and had to tell somebody to sit out or do like a team versus 1 is not as cool as actually having a game that's designed to be a multiplayer game. So I like that. What was the expected SSD release month? There's no month. They said Q3, and they've said summer. So that makes me think, let's see, January, February, March, April, May, June. So that means July, August, or September, which are, I guess, all considered summer. I'm guessing it'll be a Gen Con early release in August, because Gen Con's the first week of August, and with maybe a September general release after that. What does my shirt say? Rebellions are built on hope, and these are Legion dice, all rolled to the block side. So this is like a perfect block for the rebels that have really bad dice. And this one I actually wore in my B1 Battle Droids. This shirt is... Oh, man. Hold on. I have a link to where you can get this shirt. They sent me... This shirt was sent to me, but I actually really do like it. You know, I have no idea... I have no problem if somebody sends me stuff, like showcasing it on my videos if it's something that I like. If it's something that I hate, I'm probably not going to wear it, you know. That's why I put a P.O. box, because I get a lot of people trying to send me stuff. That's why I have a P.O. box now on my About page on YouTube and on my Crabbok Contact Me page. I've got all of that stuff. So, you know, I was getting tired of, you know, having to give my home address to people. I'm like, no, let me just get a P.O. box. Because a lot of people were asking me for that stuff. All right, let's see here. I've got a... I've got it here. No, not there. Not that. Not that. Not that. Not there. What? Oh, did I erase it? I've got it in here somewhere. I'm looking for this address. Well, it's going to be somewhere else then. I'll find it. Well, anyway, while I'm looking for that, because I'll paste it in the chat once I get a link to where you can get it. But oh, there's a sale coming up for like my own T-shirt shops as well on like my Teespring or TeePublic, or the one I have that's in a link in the comments or in the description. There's something coming up for that, a sale pretty soon, like 30% off. So if you're looking to get any of the shirts that I have on there, those are going to be going on sale very soon. I'll probably mention it in the community tab section somewhere. Daydream Gaming. Yes, and I got their link. Let me put a link. I'm going to paste a link to that in the description. Sorry if I'm not getting to all the questions. There's a decent number of them, and I take time answering, especially if it's something. There you go. So that link I just posted, that Etsy shop, that's Daydream Gaming. They have shirts like this, and they have some other stuff as well, so you can check them out. All right. When will Wave 4 of X-Wing drop? That's a really good question. I don't know. I actually, I don't usually pre-order X-Wing stuff. I usually just pick X-Wing up at my local store, but I pre-ordered a couple of the things for X-Wing, because it's an expensive thing to buy a whole wave of X-Wing. So I pre-ordered some now, and then I'll pick the rest up, you know, at a local store, but like, I haven't gotten any shipping notice, so I'm guessing next month. I think X-Wing Wave 4 will ship next month. You're proposing to your girl soon. Do I have any speech ideas? I think you should ask her how much money she's got first. And if she's got enough to pay for the wedding, then, I mean, go for it. If she's going to make you, very happy to where you don't have to work anymore, you should totally do that. I'm kidding. No, yeah, do that. Ask her how much money she's got. Get down on one knee and be like, babe, how much money you got? And then then ask her if you can have some. If she's got enough, then maybe she's worth it. Joking. Being a complete silly face. All right. Trying to get into Legion. What's the best place to start? Look for my videos on what to buy first. Well, Crabbok, what to buy first for Legion. I mean, and I also have a how to play that I think is pretty informative. So search for Crabbok Legion Guide or Crabbok Legion What to Buy First, Crabbok Legion How to Play. There are a lot of... you can check out the Legion Discord as well. I have a link to it through my Discord, and I have in the community link section. There's a lot of... there's a huge Legion community. And so if you're looking to get into Legion, it's... now, the thing is, Legion's really big, and... I gotta be honest with you, there's some toxic people in the community, and you're gonna see some of that. Like, I was, do I have any rattling issues in my FX collection? No, I don't have any problems with my lightsabers. So granted, I haven't been pulling them out very much, but they're still working good. One of them, some of the batteries have died, though. Oh, no. Let's see. Yeah. They're still working. I need to do some funny stuff, though. But no, like I had asked a question, like a kind of joking on the Legion Facebook group, something about like the Darth Vader, because he was so tall, if like he might not get cover from a barricade, and there was this big thing of like people like it was answered like in the rules and like no, in the rules it says barricades give cover to troopers, and I'm like, oh, I get that, but there's also another rule that says you measure and see if it's half. So I just thought it was an interesting thing to talk about, but like a lot of the comments were like just nasty. Like one guy was like said something along the lines of, it's a shame that you don't know how to play the game or how the rules work, and I'm like, wow, that's not helpful at all, and that's extremely condescending, and then somebody else is like, and I said something, and I shouldn't have engaged, because when people troll, you really shouldn't. But I was like, well, that was awfully insulting. That was no need. And then somebody else goes like, well, you shouldn't feel insulted, and it's up to you if you want to feel insulted. After all, you just admitted you don't know how the game works. And I'm like, oh, all right, I'm done. There's, some people just want to watch the world burn. That is, and that sort of thing is toxic as hell, and we don't need that. I mean, really, we really don't. I admit, I make rules mistakes all the time. When you play a game enough, you're gonna make rules mistakes. The more you play, the more mistakes you make, and that's kind of how you learn and get better. I've never claimed to be like the absolute authority on rules. I try my best though. I try my best to help, and honestly, making mistakes kind of helps make you humble, and so I don't mind that. I don't mind the extra humility that comes with it. But I do mind when people want to deliberately be jerks, because I don't know. I don't have time for that. Is Legion a board game? No, Legion is a miniatures game. I've been doing some cool stuff. I've been basing my minis, right? So, oh shoot, Hera just broke. So, like, I had all of the red bases on my Legion minis, and kind of like that. Now this is Ezra. This is Mel's miniatures. This isn't actually a Legion one, but I had already glued them all. So what happened was, I got sand and some rocks and stuff, and I basically put glue and a little bit of water, but mostly glue, and a paintbrush, and painted glue over the top, and I dipped them in these things of sand. And they're kind of like this. It's just crafting sand from like Joann's or Michael's or whatever. I'd dip them in there and tap them off. And once the blue dried, then I put them into like the greenish teal. And so it ends up kind of looking like this. So the idea was I wanted my rebels to have like an alien planet kind of terrain with different shades of dirt. So the idea is like it's blue at the bottom, but it's like a teal on top. So like I have their footprints behind them in the darker blue. So I have a whole bunch that still need that top coat of teal, but a lot of my finished ones end up having the teal and like here's a bigger one, right? Like you see like behind the generator and where things may have moved is where it's like scraped, and you see the blue behind it. So that's kind of what I did, because I did all my Imperials in snow, and so I didn't want them to have the same scheme. I wanted them to be a little more clear. And when the other factions come out, I'll probably do something even different. Have I ever played Gloomhaven? Only one time. I played a single session. I don't really have much of an opinion on it. It wasn't a thorough enough session for me to really form an opinion, but I'll say this. It's a campaign-based game, which means this is pretty hard for me to really commit to. I have a hard time with campaigns. And I'm going to try. We're going to start up another Star Wars RPG here soon. The Clone Wars core guide is the core book is shipping soon, so we're going to be doing like a Clone Wars campaign. And I'm trying to build, like a Jedi or a Jedi initiate or Jedi Padawan who is just lost his master in the Clone Wars or something like that. Something to be kind of low level, but I don't want to start having to go through training, because I don't want to role play a whole campaign where I'm just sitting in Yoda's room, moving things around the whole time. So, yeah. You think they might come out with Republic Commandos for Legion? Yeah, I think that's entirely possible. I think they're going to do a lot. I mean, that'd make a great special forces for Legion. I think that's now. Granted, the Republic Commandos game isn't exactly canon anymore, but they can pull from Legends. They can absolutely do that. Let's see. Your friend managed to illuminate lightsabers on both Luke and Vader using, oh yeah, the little button. I've seen some people do that, and I saw some people at Gen Con had done that, and that's really impressive. Absolutely, absolutely impressive. All right, guys, I'm gonna wrap this up, and I'm gonna kind of go inside and cool off a little bit. I think I need to take a shower now because I am soaking wet, and I probably stink. So I did now, thanks to Patreon. I was able to. I did order a green screen, and that should be showing up someday soon. I'll probably make a little Patreon exclusive video for that, because that's I'm going to be able to do more videos inside and not have to do everything out here in sweat. So I'll be able to do more live streams. I'll probably do some more gaming live streams too. So I'll probably a little more Overwatch, Apex Legends, and Star Wars Battlefront 2. Kind of building up a little bit more of an audience for when Fallen Order comes out, because I know a lot of you guys are following me for the board game stuff, and I get that, but I feel like video games are kind of go hand in hand with gaming. Although I am always going to be primarily, Star Wars and tabletop. I still plan to cover, video games at least a little bit. Not as hardcore as everyone else, but I mean, it's fun. And it's fun. It's a fun thing to like stream and talk to you guys, and even maybe have the ability to have like some of you guys like join in and stuff. And maybe that'll even be a reward I put for like channel members who click the join button and do that whole thing. Is maybe we'll do, games where we buddy up on like Battlefronts or something like that. We go fly together or something like that. Like that would be kind of fun. But I play all my games on PC, so that's